story. Let me turn things around and ask you a few questions. I had an interesting experience the other day with a client. She called me on her cell phone as she was stalking her boyfriend. She had followed him to his apartment and was waiting outside, and he came out with a woman, and she was chasing him down the freeway and calling me and asking me what to do. And I suggested she go home. But it made me realize how technology has changed my work over the years, because I used to hear about drive-bys at the next session, and then I would hear about it the next day on my answering machine, and now I'm actually going on a drive-by, and it's interesting, So you know a lot about how technology has changed the face of love addiction. It's very cutting-edge work, and I'd like you to expound on that in a way that a layperson like me can understand.
Sure, absolutely. And that's such a great story. Like being on the drive-by, right? Like experiencing just her level of anxiety in those moments. Like, what a gift, The part about technology that I talk about a lot that's changing it is the accessibility that you have to somebody else. I always say that when I was at the height of my, love addiction, that if there was Facebook out, I'm not sure I'd still be here. Because part of my abandonment wound was overshadowed by this intense jealousy that came over me after my father drowned and my mother married a man so shortly after that, and all of her attention went to him, that I became completely terrified of losing the person that I love to someone else. So the accessibility that love addicts, love avoidance, ambivalence, whatever we want to call it, has to find information out about the person, their person of interest that they're obsessed about, is it's unlimited. Where we used to be like sit in the wonder of it all, like staring at the telephone, wondering if it was going to ring, when it was going to ring. Now it's like we don't have to wait for them to come to us. We can go to them.
Instantaneous gratification.
Oh, I don't know if I'd call it the gratification, because it's never enough. Because there's always something more to look for. There's always something more to find. Like you can get on what I call crazy train, right? And stay in this constant state of thinking, investigating. If I always say, if I opened up another business, I'd probably hire a bunch of recovered love addicts and open up an investigative firm, because we'd be really successful, right?
Yeah, and I love your term, crazy train.
Yeah.
Before, when you're finished talking about technology, please explain where that comes from.
Absolutely. So the thing about technology is that several things. One is that it heightens our senses to a complete different level, because we have so much more information at our fingertips.
So are we getting higher because?
I believe we are. I believe that technology provides, it's like going from the shot of tequila to the,
heroin.
to the heroin. Absolutely. It's like it just makes it that much more available.
Okay.
And the other part of it is just how we're learning to be relational. So when you look at, I know when I was growing up, before technology came on board, because I'm one of those people now, that can still say I actually grew up, my childhood, we did not have the internet, right? Mm-hmm. So when I look at being relational, we would meet people by going out and being social. And then in these different environments where we would meet people, whether it be at school or at a party or a club, we would be social first, so we would feel their energy. We would see them, how they would react to other people, how they would sit down, how they would smile. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, what you're seeing is not reality. What we're doing is we're meeting people online by going on what I call the hunt.
An airbrushing experience.
Well, there's airbrushing, but there's also all these different profiles. I mean, are people really who they represent themselves to be on Facebook and LinkedIn? And
no, they're image management.
Right, it's all image management. Well, it's not all image management. I know there's a lot of people, myself included, that really do make an effort to be as honest and authentic as we can be, right? Mm-hmm. Yet there's still this, there's almost like, do we really know, right? So when we're looking at the context of love addiction and we're looking at technology, we're not going in socializing first. We're going in with a hunt. We're looking. We're looking for someone. And then when we connect with someone, the ability to connect deeply without emotion is right there. I mean, people will talk, the younger generation talks about sexting. Like they will be sexting with somebody and talking about what it's like, or wanting to get a blowjob, or wanting to see them with their, will you just send me a picture of you with no shirt on? Okay, I mean, they don't even know what their favorite color is yet.
Yeah.
Like technology has been able to take these relationships into a whole nother level before their emotional intelligence is even there.
Does that change your recovery?
Oh, absolutely. I think it does. I think it does.
Elaborate on that.
Well, because I think that the original wound, or what's going on for them, many of these people are learning to be relational through technology. So they're wounded by the way that they've learned how to be relational.
Okay.
So instead of, many of us, our wounds came from our parents. We were taught how to be relational through the modeling that was done in our home, right? Well, now so much of the modeling that's being done is coming through how they're supposed to be based on what they're getting it from their computers. What's socially acceptable? They're learning about it from somebody other than the family dynamic. So even if the family dynamic is not healthy, even that's why so many people that come in to be treated for love addiction now are saying, but my childhood was actually pretty normal. And so many people want to make it about the childhood. Sometimes I've worked with women that come from pretty normal childhoods. And where they go left to center is when they've gotten addicted to this ability to be able to be online and create this persona of something that isn't. Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, and I remember suggesting to a client, I was her life coach, and so I was helping her write her profile for Facebook or Match.com or something, they all run together in my mind. But I suggested that if she wanted to stop, getting high off all the emails, that rather than promote herself, she would talk about her shadow and the things that they would have to get used to if they wanted to actually get married and have children. And she freaked out and she said, no, I have to market myself, I have to, manage my image or I'll never get anywhere. And so that says a lot about, in her case, the men she was attracted to, that's all they cared about. And
well, what happened